We've spoken to lots of individual companies and representatives today, and now we're with perhaps more of an umbrella organisation. This is Simon Saunders, who's chairman of the FemtoForum. Simon, I know you do lots of work on behalf of all your members. What is the key thing that's concerning them at the moment that you would say is of most interest at the moment?
Okay, Keith. Well, I've got to say first of all that today I'm an extremely happy man, because here we are at Femtocells World Summit in the middle of 2009. And today we've heard from Vodafone that they're launching a service, commercial service, right across the UK next Wednesday, which is a strong validation of what we've been saying since we were founded in 2007, that femtocell technology was going to be ready for commercial rollout during the course of 2009, which is fantastic. And this is going to create a platform and a proof point for the industry very widely. It's building on the deployments that have already happened in the US with Sprint and Verizon, in Japan with SoftBank and so on. So this is very much an industry that's poised for growth now. We've addressed in the last couple of years as an industry forum a whole range of issues to bring us to this point in technology, in standards and in the business case. What we're really looking for now is going beyond those initial launches and helping to do the things that will help us to scale up, to encourage the uptake of femtocells, to deliver volumes which deliver benefits for vendors, operators and end customers alike, and to realise the full potential of femtos. So to give you a couple of examples of things we're working on, just recently we announced a collaboration with the WiMAX Forum. And this completes really our set of major partnerships with standards organisations, building on our work with 3GPP, with 3GPP2 and now with WiMAX Forum. And in particular, that's focused on a longer-term view of femtocells for next-generation mobile technology. So today's launches are based really on 2G or 3G technologies. What we've done, working with that forum and with others, is actually to create a vision of how femtocells can help for operators to deliver very efficiently, very speedily, and very cost-effectively the higher level of performance that's available from next generation. Building on the success which we hope and expect that they're going to have with 3G. That applies to WiMAX and it applies to LTE. And we're working with those organisations to help to speed up the standards process, to help to define the kinds of products which are going to be useful for operators, and help to work out what it is you can actually then do with that really cost-effective platform for delivering wireless services to devices in the mass market. There's another area which links to that, which is today femtocells are being deployed to produce great coverage in the home with very fast data rates and to do it very cost effectively for the operator and allow the users access to potentially unlimited data capabilities on their mobile device. But that platform does more than that. It's not just an engineering tool. It becomes an environment where some whole new capabilities can happen. So it's not only the same services that you're used to in the mobile network, better, faster, cheaper, it actually becomes an environment where we can create new applications. And what we've been showing today is a whole range of demonstrations that vendors have put together to demonstrate the possibilities of femtos. And as a forum, what we're doing is trying to help them to come together as an industry and come up with what are the underlying capabilities of femtocells which are going to enable those applications. So we've announced today the formation of a new special interest group within FemtoForum focused entirely on those new service possibilities in helping to understand the range that's possible, what the special location, presence and context information that femtocells can deliver are, and helping to encourage consistency and consensus in the industry about how that's done. So tomorrow's Femto app stores are going to have applications in them from developers who recognise the imagination and the possibilities of femtos, but don't actually need to know anything about the underlying technology, or even whether it's a 3G or an LTE or a WiMAX femtocell. They can simply get on with providing great applications that users will find valuable and create an added reason for them to hold on to their femtos, to go to operators who are deploying femtos in their markets, and indeed for operators to create extra value above and beyond simply delivering today's services.
Great, there's obviously lots in there. A couple of quick things. You're confident now that operators have the stability in the environment for the management and control and integration of femtocells into the network, and I guess you might reference Vodafone as a proof that at least one operator thinks so.
Clearly it's a major proof point. It's only one of many points actually. I mentioned those happening elsewhere in the world. We've really, as a forum, taken great care to listen very carefully to operators' needs here. Operators are being squeezed on capacity, they're having to deliver the last ounce out of their existing networks, and they're facing the prospect of them moving on to a next generation before they've even played out the end of the current generation because of the explosive growth in that traffic. So everything we do is about making it very cost effective for operators to deliver. That includes making it absolutely straightforward for a user to take a femtocell out of the box, plug it in, switch it on, wait for the green light to come on and start receiving great service. Behind the scenes in that is a great deal of sophisticated technology. So the management processes are very scalable. They adopt the techniques that Broadband Forum has standardized for DSL modems. Built on top of that, we created a femto-specific capability, a data model, specifying, if you like, the language and the ingredients of that management, but to do it over shared broadband links, which don't even have to be controlled by the same operator. They can be completely separate, both technically and commercially, from that operator, and can create a very scalable approach so that millions of femtocells can be deployed whilst actually reducing the operational cost for the operator in delivering a given service to the users.
Fantastic, and I just wanted to pick up on the issue around next generation and LTE. I can see that if depending on the frequencies they go in, if they go at the high frequencies, then the cell sizes get smaller, and you can see the cases perhaps being made for a femto approach, and also in terms of penetration of building. But if they get their hands on the digital dividend frequencies down at 700-800, will that necessarily reduce the case from a coverage point of view for femtocells?
There's an interesting sort of balance. So, it's traditionally people think about high frequency spectrum for capacity and low frequency spectrum for coverage. It's actually much more subtle than that. High frequency spectrum, traditionally thought of as not having very good range. Well, for a femtocell, you need one femtocell per house. So we actually, with femtocells, get to open up the use of that higher frequency spectrum, and it becomes actually useful, more useful for operators than would be the case in just the macro network. By the same token, the low frequency spectrum, there doesn't tend to be very much of it about, and it's often shared with other services nearby. So there may be some digital TV just across the border, for example, or analog TV might not quite have switched off yet for many of those frequencies. And there, because femtocells, even in dedicated spectrum for mobile services, come with a great deal of intelligence to sense the interference and to change their parameters to work with it, and they work at very, very low powers, actually they're very resilient against that. So they make that low frequency spectrum that might be in some cases a bit impaired by other usage and a bit narrow in the actual bandwidth, also very useful. So, whether you're deploying at low or high frequencies, femtocells become an option for you.
Okay, and just on a final point, the special interest group around applications development, would you anticipate seeing maybe the makeup of your membership changing? Would you have a process or a assigned system for apps developers for femtocell, or so, is that how it will go forward? Or?
Absolutely. So one of the reasons for having this group and for announcing it today is to reach out to those apps developers, to understand from them what they would need to create these applications and their level of interest in those, and for us to provide to them what they're looking for, understand whether the technical solutions that we're looking at as options fit their needs, and so on and so forth. So we've set up a dedicated web page, an email address on our website, femtoforum.org, and we're inviting apps developers to come into the forum. We're making that very easy for them, very sort of open online type of club for this kind of interaction. So we're really looking forward to welcoming apps developers large and small into seeing the opportunities for them from femtocells.
And could you see them being, as it were, femto certified or something, so that they can develop once and operators can trust the application? Is that the sort of model?
That remains to be seen. Very much we tend to work from the perspective of if there's a viable business model, a viable approach that operators can see plausibly, then it's something we want to make sure the technology permits. And amongst our membership, we have operators that see femtocells as a really off-the-shelf internet device, completely open, and others that are keen to deliver what some consumers are looking for, which is a well-managed, working well, something you don't have to bother with, environment that is simplicity itself to set up. So, the source of those applications depends on that model. We want to make sure that we can support all of those.
Simon, thank you.